Welcome to the Philantrepreneur Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd, designed to offer tips, strategies, and insight to empower nonprofits and entrepreneurs with sustainable win-win solutions. The Philantrepreneur Show is sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, building capacity through education and professional services.
Well, welcome. This is Dr. Victoria Boyd, president of the Galaxy Group and editor of the Philantrepreneur Journal, and my great co-host, Heidi Anderson, founder of Credit Cares and president of Electronic Commerce International. We, as usual, are thrilled to bring you the Philantrepreneur Show, which airs, as you heard in the opening, every first and third Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, well, Heidi, after celebrating the show's one-year anniversary last time, we both got pretty busy continuing the development process for some great projects. You've been really hitting the pavement developing those relationships to further the cause of helping aging out fosters. So many find themselves homeless and with no support system. With the Phoenix area being where the pilot program is going to launch, what type of support are you looking for? Maybe one of our listeners is the perfect fit for you.
Well, that would be wonderful. It's been interesting meeting with, I've met so many of the organizations that already serve this community of, the young adults who are aging out of the foster care system. And what I've found is there are quite a few services that are already available to them that will fill some of the vision that we have for the foundation. In fact, one of them, because we have them learning how to fix things and build things, and so one of my favorites is actually the Maricopa County Skills Center has a youth build program, and they do that very same thing. I mean, they work with them on finishing high school, getting their learning how to fix things, and also but also work on on empowering them. So there's a little chunk of that's already kind of being done, and so it's really just kind of like pulling together the things that already exist and making everything that work together. And so one of the things that would be a wonderful thing that I'm putting out there to the universe is a donation of a fixer-upper property close to the Skills Center, which is kind of just west of the airport here in Phoenix. Somebody who'd be willing to donate that property to the foundation as a place for the first group of young men to live and renovate as part of their training. And then when they graduate from the program, we'd be able to sell that home and for hopefully enough money to buy 2 more fixer-uppers, and then so on and so on. And each time we can bring in more and more of these young men to learn and develop and be empowered. So that's my prayer to the universe. And I also started my training to be a CASA, which for those who are not familiar with the CASA program, it stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocate. And we help the most at-risk foster youth to be heard and get what they most need and want through the court system and other agencies. There's a huge need for CASAs, and I highly recommend anybody who cares about finding the best possible outcome for vulnerable foster kids from newborn to 18 years old to check out this volunteer opportunity. So, Victoria, what is this I'm hearing about the Philantrepreneur? You've got a new launch?
Well, it's always good to update and keep up with the trends and times. And yes, the website is getting a facelift, and we're going to be adding the Philantrepreneur Foundation. It's a nonprofit that will provide additional support beyond mind consulting services for corporations. It will focus on counseling and other services, all aimed at impacting community efforts. Looking at October launch for the website and the inclusion of the foundation, so it will coincide with the next edition of the release of the Philantrepreneur Journal. So October will be a big month, and then I'll give you how to access them and things like that. I've been teaching in the nonprofit sector for many years, and our guest today was in one of my recent classes. And it was really great to learn about her new initiative. So I'd really like to introduce Kathlyn Jaramillo, founder of DefiningWomen's Networking Group and DefiningWomen Women magazine, and now the newly launched nonprofit, Mariah's House. Kathlyn, welcome to the Philantrepreneur Radio Show. So glad you could squeeze us into your busy day. As a native Las Vegan, tell us, was it like growing up here, and what did you do before Defining Women?
Well, good morning, Victoria and Heidi. It's great to be on the show. I am so excited to be here with you this morning to tell you a little bit more about what I've been up to these past 7 years. But, yes, I am a native Las Vegan. And it's a small, big town. It still is, even though we've got lots of people, lots of transient people coming in and out. I was the kid of a police officer who started with Ralph Lamb at the sheriff's department. And my mom was a telephone operator. They both came here in the mid-'50s. And I am proud to say I'm going to be 55 in just another week or so.
Happy birthday!
So I've been here. Yeah, thank you. I've been here a really long time, and I love my city. I love my hometown. And it was a small, big town. What we see as Fremont's experience right now, that was our kind of fun times when we were in high school. We'd go cruise that little strip right there, and kind of the first big mega casino was the Excalibur, if you can believe that when you look at our landscape now. My senior prom was at the Marina Hotel, which is inside the MGM right now. So it was a very small, big town. There was a lot of ranches. There kind of still is on the outskirts of town. Lots of horseback riding and camping and fun stuff. I mean, I love the state of Nevada, and I love my hometown, Las Vegas.
Well, Kathlyn, it's so great to talk to you. I mean, I got the opportunity to be in your organization a couple of times when I was still in Las Vegas, and you really had put together a wonderful group of women. And so how and when did Defining Women get started?
Well, we're actually celebrating as of September 12th, just a few days ago, our 7th anniversary. And what I did prior to Defining Women is I was in different types of sales. The major one was design, build, audiovisual. I had my first career for about 15 to 16 years was I managed doctors' offices. And I went through a rough patch, divorce, and wanted to really be able to provide much more to my family. So I went into sales, and I landed squarely in a very fantastic position with a company here and did design, build, audiovisual, projectors, screens, mega churches, things like that. And I had a vast territory. So I did that before. But what happened during that time is in my early 40s, I really was very driven, very tenacious, didn't have a great, sweet, kind reputation. I was a fiery variety for sure, and really kind of, and then I felt very misunderstood because I felt like I'm a really sweet, loving person, but on the outside, hard, tenacious, very testosterone filled, I like to say. So so it's really Defining Women's been a cathartic journey for me in that I recognize my own hardness. I recognize my own lack of nurture to accomplish things. So with Defining Women, I sought an opportunity to gather women together to allow the walls to come down, to authentically connect with each other, and use nurture, which is my belief is one of the best gifts we give to this world. Pepper it with some kindness and some sweetness, and not only will we grow and enrich our lives, but our businesses will grow too, because we do want to do business with kind people. I do. I want to do business with nice people. So that's how Defining Women got started. I had kind of a patch in my late teens, early 20s that had me thinking I really want to get women together, because what do women do in difficult times? So the seed was planted way back then. So at the age of 47, I launched Defining Women and began to realize my dreams. I had gone through some personal enrichment classes, and I thought I want more for my life. So that's how Defining Women got started, and I really want women to stand for each other and break this cycle of the stereotypical ideas that women cannot be really, really great, a great sisterhood to accomplish together what they dream of and desire.
It's that's I mean, just taking your own experiences and shaping it into an organization like Defining Women was a great step. I mean, to have the foresight. So now Defining Women, as you said, is 7 years old. And how has it evolved over those past 7 years?
Well, I remember when I first started Defining Women, as a controller personality, I wanted to look a certain way. And about 2 years into it, I thought, wow, am I a women's networking group or am I a women's community? And I saw the women over the years begin to really fall in love with each other and support each other, not only in their businesses, but in life. So even now, we'll have women come in to our community, and they're I just want to do business. I don't need any friends. Business. They're self-promoting. They're doing all this. Look at me and look at my product, and then I have the veterans coming alongside them saying, it's okay. Here, we want to welcome you as a woman. We want to see who you are as a woman and what you really want for your life. So it's evolved from, again, cathartic journey, very testosterone-filled, and not that we don't still get that now, but very soon, if a woman resonates with our message and our purpose and really our energy, she'll stay because she, too, wants to become a little softer, kinder, gentler, more nurturing to accomplish those things that she wants. So I've seen it over 7 years. I've had women come into our groups that didn't know a living soul in Las Vegas, and their cup is now overflowing with support, love, and I'm proud of the accomplishments. I remember one woman said to me one time, because they were all thanking me for what I did, and I'm feeling emotional right now even sharing it. I've also had to learn to accept that I did something and it's meant a great deal to a lot of people, and it's okay for me to receive the gratitude for it. Because I went into it as a business proposition in a lot of ways, hoping that the icing on the cake would be all those beautiful connections, not even imagining really the kinds of connections these gals would have. But I went into it with this hard business idea, and it's turned into just a really a safe, soft place to land for women and a great learning tool as well.
Well, Kathlyn, I must have met you well after you found your warm, fuzzy side, because I would never think of you as being anything else. And I certainly never thought you were anywhere near 55. I would have whacked about 10 years off that. And unfortunately, I did think it. No, I only got to come to a couple of your events before I ended up moving back down here to Phoenix, and really did enjoy them and witness exactly what you're talking about. And I kind of wish maybe we should get something like that going down here. But but speaking of like people coming in, and everybody has their personality, and especially if you're not used to networking, and you come in going, okay, I've got to make a sale, I got to get customers. Why is networking etiquette or appropriateness important?
Well, this is what I found. It serves several purposes. What we've taught women over the years is that, let me back up for a second. Networking, hello everyone out there, networking was never meant to be the only distribution channel for your product or service. And let me say that again. Networking was never meant to be the only distribution channel for your product or service. As a business strategist, I really try to teach people, women especially, get creative about how you're putting your product out there. And always be yourself first. Put yourself first over your product and service. You're going to do so much more good. What happens is when we talk about networking etiquette or networking appropriateness, when you lead with your business card, or when you lead with your business, or when you lead with everybody needs my product or service, it's a huge turnoff. And so part of what we want to convey is that if you're the person turning people off, if you're the person walking into a room and people are kind of scattering like, oh no, there she is, take notice. Now, on the other hand, if you're the woman who sees a woman coming into the room that everybody's really realizing that she's just a self-promoter, please go up to her, put your arm around her, give her a little energy It's okay. Just be you here. Let's talk about your business later. So it becomes a two-way reciprocal give in that we can complain about somebody being self-promoting. We can I liken it to I love the whole Twilight saga. I know it's kind of a crazy thing, but there was one of the movies that had the new vampires that were coming out, the newbies. And network you know where I'm going with this. When you have people who are new to business or new in their adventure or new in their business venture, they're like newbie vampires. They're trying to get everything they can and leaving such a carnage in their wake that they are doing such a damage to their own personal reputation. So it is so important to just take a step back and really have great etiquette. I mean, I've had people come up to me and say, I'm going to give you 3 cards. You're going to give 2 away and keep one for yourself. And they have no idea who they're standing in front of. And here's where my tenacity comes out. I say, no, I'm not. I don't want any of your cards. Now, then I say, I want to know who you are as a human being, and then I'll decide if I want your business card. And I'll ask you, when I want it, I'll ask you for it. So that's one of the things that we do. It's like I teach all the ladies, don't lead with a business card. Never give your business card unless you're asked. Think of how much you spent on your business cards, first of all. If someone doesn't want it or you know it's going to be stacking up on someone's desk, reserve it. Just be yourself. And if they want information about you, they will ask. So this is what's important about networking etiquette and networking appropriateness. Am I saying that? Well, that didn't come out right. But anyway, really just don't let networking be your only distribution channel, and please just be yourself. Realize that networking is working the nets. Not everybody wants your product or service, so you must focus your nets, understand who your ideal client is, and when you're in front of them, ask permission if you can share what's going on. So it's really important. It's key to your longevity in business.
Absolutely. I not a long time, I guess a couple of years ago, I wrote 5 touch points of networking and actually gave it as a presentation. And it was all about making those personal connections. And it never even got to the point of what is your business and what do you do? It's connecting, looking people straight in the eyes. When you grab their hand, embracing their hand and making them feel welcome. And it was more like you alluded to, building those relationships front and foremost before you even want to know whether or not you want to do business with them. Yes, great advice. Yes, absolutely.
And also, just to kind of wrap that point up, is networking is one of the, people think they're going to get a quick sale out of networking. Networking should be your longest sales cycle. Expect it to be your longest sales cycle, because you can probably close a sale better with a cold lead just off the street with a good presentation and a good message. But if you're networking for the long haul, my husband coined this phrase in his company, BizPack Networks, and now BizPack Connections, build a long-lasting relationship. Because if you're doing one thing today, maybe a year from now you're doing something different. If all they know you as the insurance person, then and they never got to know you, and now you go start a new venture, how are they going to support you in your new venture? Get to know people as human beings. Life is changing all the time, so it's important to stay connected to the human.
And your business should change. It should evolve, just like the Philantrepreneur. It's relatively new, but it's already evolving into something new. So you as a person will evolve too. Great tips, great information. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a real quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Hey, are you a small business owner like me who wants to make a charitable contribution and needs easy access to charitable giving sources that you can automate for your business for free? Then I invite you to visit www.credit-cares.com. They have charitable giving options using their innovative merchant platform that helps nonprofits raise money and helps merchants make contributions at no additional cost to them using the products and services of Electronic Commerce International. Our giving options are easy to set up for small business. So if you have a business entity, we can donate in your business name. Go to www.credit-cares.com credit-cares.com and see how you can make a difference every day by doing what you already do. Go to www.credit-cares.com and fill out the form or call 855-782-2737 for more information on how your business can be a difference maker in your community.
Okay, now it is now time for the Philantrepreneur Show Tip. The foundation of our show is to offer tips, strategies, and insight to entrepreneurs and nonprofits. On the last show, we gave 2 tips on leadership. As I mentioned, the January issue of the Journal will focus on leadership and building a culture of leadership. The first 2 tips were stop being the go-to person and assessing your personal strengths and best use of your time. So today we're going to go with tips 3 and 4. Number 3 is, what's the best way for entrepreneurs to learn new skills? And the answer to that is peer coaching. Just like with the networking groups, Defining Women, many other groups out there, but also just find other people that you can connect with on a regular basis. You can learn from each other's experiences and provide some space for each other to get up on the balcony and think out loud. Number 4 is, what's a good strategy for making changes? First of all, don't try to change too many things at once. Focus on the vital few and work on making those habits you can build on. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." And so who am I to argue with Aristotle? I think that's great advice.
The Philantrepreneur is dedicated to your success. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com to find and explore a wide range of services and resources. Register and receive benefits such as training, early bird discounts, and the Philantrepreneur Journal, a nationally distributed bi-monthly digital publication serving everything Philantrepreneur, filled with tips, strategies, and resources to support your goals. Need more marketing exposure and have community impact? The Philantrepreneur is proud to offer Ads for a Cause, where 10% of your marketing purchase goes directly to charity. Contact us today to place your ad. Increase your reach in a professional digital publication or radio spot. It's a great marketing tool to send, post, or share in a variety of formats. Deadlines are on a rolling basis, so don't miss being included in the next publication. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com and click the Journal Marketing Ads tab today. Mention this show and get a 10% discount. www.thephilantrepreneur.com.
Well, welcome back as we continue our conversation with our guest today, Kathlyn Jaramillo. Am I saying that right, Jaramillo? Jaramillo?
It's Jaramillo.
Jaramillo.
Jaramillo or Jaramillo.
Yeah.
Now, I use my full name, Kathlyn Eversole Jaramillo. My maiden name is Eversole, and my beautiful married name is Jaramillo. Shout out to my awesome supportive husband who gave me his love.
Okay, yeah, and I met him too, and he is wonderful. I miss seeing you guys. Anyway, and so
we miss you too, Kathlyn. Come more often, Heidi, or I've got to get over there.
Yes, I make a point of it. So, Kathlyn, tell us about Mariah's house.
Well, Mariah's house, as I said earlier, what I have realized that my calling is with women. Women are my wheelhouse, and so what I've realized is that I really had been sort of in my brain prompted to serve women at a deeper level. And I was scared. I didn't really want to answer the call. I didn't really want to. I kept thinking, wow, really? Oh, my. Oh, geez. Really? This is what I'm really going to be doing? And it's easy for me to just sort of get into a rhythm and I've gotten into my life, and the magazine is going great, which P.S. the magazine is going to print our very first print issue for our holiday issue, a launch party, I think tentatively November 17th. But so I'm just saying it's easy to kind of get in that rhythm and just working and all that. But what about a give back? Now, when I started Defining Women, people kept saying you should link with a charitable organization. I kept saying to myself and to them, I don't want to link with a charitable organization. Women need charity. We need women that will come, and we don't expect anything of them. We want to give to them. They need some charity right now. So 7 years into this, I'm like, okay, So about 6 months ago, the promptings were coming stronger and stronger, and I just felt like I had to take this leap. Mariah's house is in our hearts right now, and Victoria has been a huge mentor. We've taken one of her classes, but we try to gobble up everything she writes, everything she says. I have to say, I'm not just saying this because I'm on the show this morning, but I really want to give Victoria great props because we've gone to a lot of classes, a lot of get-togethers, and we've learned more from Victoria. This is a woman who's expert on creating the right kind of nonprofit. She's given us a logic model to follow. Amazing. So I digress, but love you, Victoria. Thank you for your support. Mariah's house. You're welcome. Mariah's house is in our hearts right now. We need a house. We need a house in a non-HOA community here in Las Vegas. And what it's intended to be is a safe house for women who are coming out of human trafficking. Now, human trafficking is kind of a pop culture term right now, but really human trafficking is all-encompassing of any type of bondage or controlled situation that a woman or girl will find herself in. And we have no home in Las Vegas that is specifically for those who've been trafficked. So currently what happens is when a woman is found to if she's an adult, arrested as a prostitute, she may choose to go to a program, but those programs are typically for domestic violence. Even if a prostitute chooses out of that lifestyle, which is an all complication of it in and of itself, they'll go to shelters and things that are not really equipped to handle those women and girls who've been in the commercially sexually exploited. So our dream is to have a house to serve that particular population. We are making great strides with learning the community. Victoria can tell you that the nonprofit organizations and the community itself can be a bit tricky. There's parts of it that can be extremely competitive. We didn't want to come in as rolling thunder here, act like we knew stuff. We just had a heart to do it, and I've certainly got a huge community to build resources from. However, we realized quickly into it that we must be smart and due diligence and use some business strategy here. So right now, we are not a 501c3 yet. We are hoping to get our pending letter soon, but Victoria also knows that. So we do have mariahshouse.com. You can go donate, but just know you're giving us a lovely gift. And what we're trying to do at this point is use those resources that we are kind of saving and collecting, not only to get all of our startup things handled, but to also support the a Las Vegas anti-human trafficking movement that we've created. Let me back up for a second because I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. Mariah's house is named for my niece, Mariah, who is a beautiful woman living in Chicago right now, working in a nonprofit, but she was in the life, and that's what we call it, in the life, for in and out in some aspect of a controlled environment, whether her own bondage or bondage to someone else for almost 10 years. And so what's happened is she is the legacy of Mariah's house. She got clean and sober at a place called Sister House in Chicago, and we're very much modeling most of our program after that program in Chicago. So in answer to your question, Heidi, why Mariah's house? Because it's needed. Number one, it's a prompting. I'm following the path, and I'm leveraging my entire community that can stand behind this and support it.
Wow. It's a great story, and I always talk to nonprofits about telling your story, and that is a great story. So what do you hope to accomplish? I heard some of the goals and purposes, so what do you want to accomplish?
What we want to accomplish is eventually, the big dream, of course, is to have the house itself. And then I suspect that once we get that model down, we'll probably have many more. And again, here's where the prompting and the thought process is one thing, the business strategy is another. And we don't want to limit the dream that we have to accomplish this. And at the same time, we need to put some take some practical steps to make it happen. Right now, what we hope to accomplish is to really build awareness. In this community, we have a lot of faith-based support for anti-human trafficking, which is wonderful. However, faith-based can also be a division. So we are moving forward with a group called the Las Vegas Anti-Human Trafficking Meetup, So anyone listening to this can go to the Las Vegas Anti-Human Trafficking Meetup and sign up for an absolutely just information. We're going to have events that share the statistics of what's happening in Las Vegas. We really want to bring awareness. We're hoping to create some activism in this. We want to do some real awareness campaigns that build on what we want here in Las Vegas, in our community. So although Mariah's House is one part of what we do, the other part of what we want to do is bring awareness, and not just through a faith-based channel. We want to realize that we're women, we're human beings, and there's so much to be aware of. I liken it to seeing some of these photos of, none of us like to see the Facebook photos of animals being injured, right? Would you agree, ladies? I mean, it's just awful. Yeah. And then I think to myself, oh my gosh, if I literally posted everything I know about human trafficking around the world and in Las Vegas, it would be like seeing those photos, because it's like it's such an eye-opening experience to understand what's really happening. So part one is to stay the course with our business strategies, our logic model, everything we've got in place for Mariah's House. And then the other part is to really become local activists for the Las Vegas Anti-Human Trafficking Movement. And again, people can go to the meetup.com and just look for Las Vegas Anti-Human Trafficking.
Well, it sounds like an incredible project that you're putting together, and not having, like I say, having lived in Las Vegas, but it's amazing how rampant human trafficking really is throughout this country, where, people think of it as, in, Eastern Bloc or, just other, parts of the world, but it really has come to light how frequently this actually happens in our country. And I'm really thrilled that you are really taking huge steps to do something about it. So what can others do to really support you in this, in addition to going to the meetup?
Yes, those are the main things, really, because get informed. I don't have the information here, but I was doing some research the other day, and I'll post this on my Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page, Kathlyn Eversole Jaramillo, friend me. You can also go to Mariah's House Facebook page. It's Mariah's House Community Facebook page. But if you find me, you'll be able to find all that other stuff too. You can determine another name for human trafficking is modern-day slavery. And out of respect for the slaves who were in this country in the 1800s, a cost of a slave then was about $40,000. A cost of a slave now is $90. And these are women and girls who are in bondage every single day. Unspeakable things happening to them. So make yourself aware, understand. And so I bring it to the point of modern-day slavery because there's a website you can go to see if you have slaves. You can literally go through and answer some questions and see if you have slaves. Chocolate is typically a worldwide trafficked problem. I forget some of the other clothing, obviously, is another one. So if you purchase be responsible with your purchases. I know now people are very aware of their food and nutrition, and they want to, if they're going to have meat, they want to get it from a grass-fed facility. If they choose to, whatever their lifestyle is, everybody's being really hyper-responsible. Well, you can also be super responsible with where you purchase things and who you get products and services from, because you'll know you can go to this website and see who actually is involved in slavery. So it's really a whole conscious.
Wow.
And another thing real quick is when we talk about prostitutes, the way you can really support this, especially the women who are listening to this, and men too. I mean, the demand for this is a whole nother topic and for another day. But the women involved in this, when you talk about pimps and hoes, or you want to have a pimp and hoe party, stop it, okay? Because it is not a glamorous lifestyle. Think about, you've got Heidi on this radio show, you've got Victoria, you've got myself, you've got numbers of amazing, powerful women listening in. Would any of us choose in any way to go into prostitution or stripping or anything like that because we felt like it was glamorous? I mean, it's not the choice that we're going to make, right? Think about it. So when you think about please change your language to commercially sexually exploited woman. If you think about, if somebody says child prostitute, oh, get it out of your mind. There's no such thing. It's a commercially sexually exploited child. And so we can begin to look at what's going on, listen to what's going on, and you don't need to be like a vigilante or anything, but if you hear somebody talking about pimps and hoes or pimp my ride, just say, can you just that language, and let me explain to you this is what's going on. So be aware of what you purchase, where you purchase it from, be responsible with that, be responsible with your language. Don't assume that every woman who is out there walking the street, because we see them, wants to be there. And be super vigilant and hyper aware of what's going on, because it does happen in most cases.
Basically what I'm hearing is that you want us to be advocates for
yes, thank you, Victoria, because I can get on a soapbox and it's beautiful. please step up and be an advocate. Follow my lead if you want, and just come with me, and let's go on a journey, and let's really stand for women and girls everywhere. Imagine if each one of us, the worst story we have about our upbringing, the worst story we have about when we were 12 or 13 years old, think of the worst story that you have and how that shaped your future and how it shaped your choices. Because there's little girls out there that age that will need us to be here for them when they choose out, or when they can get out, or when they can get free. And as women, responsible, beautiful business women that we are, if anyone's going to do it, why not us, to help them grow and learn and be beautiful, dignified, amazing women living the life that they choose and desire. Why not us?
Very well put.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure that is a very strong viewpoint and really insightful. So do you have another viewpoint or tidbit that you want to share? If not, a takeaway.
Yeah, here's a takeaway for everyone. And here's what I've learned. I tell this to the ladies all the time. I cannot stand up and teach you those things that I have not yet learned myself, those things that I work on every single day. And two major things. One thing that I'm really more recently working on is surrender. Surrender to the process of life. Release the attachment to what it's supposed to look like. Follow your promptings. Surrender. And number two, be sensitive to humanity. And every single person matters. And the human kindness is so important. And then the third thing and the final thing is that we are women. And it's so important that we stop beating ourselves up, embrace our womanness, whatever shape, size we are, and create this natural sisterhood. I remember in my learning about my heritage in the quilting circles. Let's create modern-day quilting circles where women can get together and have beautiful conversation, not gossipy, backstabbing, stereotypical stuff. I say no to that. Get together and have powerful conversations about what we're going to do with our future, what we're going to do with today, not be so much into our own needs as to reaching out to the needs of others. And these are the things I try to work on every day, and I want to encourage everyone listening in or who will listen in the future to please reach out in kindness to people. It's important. It's creating a whole different new energy. I have a guru, Jackie Simpson, who is such a big part of my life in creating this is a new energy. And ladies, it's up to us to change the world. So that's my very strong viewpoint. And Victoria and Heidi, I love you, and I thank you for allowing me to be on the show today.
Well, it was great having you on, but I want our listeners to be able to find you. So would you give us websites, contact information, so that because you have a great project, you're really leading a movement, and I'm sure more people want to become involved. So give us all of your contact information.
Okay, great. You can reach me via email at Kathlyn, Kathlyn, Kathlyn at DefiningWomenMagazine.com, DefiningWomenMagazine.com. You can find me on Facebook, Kathlyn Eversole Jaramillo, Kathlyn Eversole Jaramillo, phonetically. And I am most active on Facebook, and you can go to our website, which is DefiningWomenMagazine.com, DefiningWomenMagazine.com, or MariahsHouse.com, MariahsHouse.com, MariahS house.com, MariahsHouse.com, and that's how you can find me. Or you can reach out to Victoria and Heidi. They'll help you.
Okay, that's right. Absolutely. Or, we'll be posting replays of this, and they'll be able to get all of that, too.
Thank you so much, Victoria and Heidi.
Once again, thank you so much for coming on the show and taking this time to just talk about your background here in Las Vegas and everything that you're doing and the impact that you're having in our community. You are truly a philantrepreneur, and it was a great pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Would you like to be a guest and have a great project to share? Are you a philantrepreneur? Drop us a note at thephilantrepreneur.com. The 2014 schedule is filling fast and it's almost completely full, but visit thephilantrepreneur.com and send us a note.
Well, it has been another great show. It was such a blessing to have Kathlyn on. What a wonderful energy and story, and just really thrilled to have her. So this is Heidi Anderson and Victoria Boyd, and saying thank you for joining, and don't miss our next show on Wednesday, October 1st at 8 a.m. Pacific Time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Philantrepreneur Radio Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd. Get involved. Follow us on Facebook and other social media outlets. If you wish to share comments or suggestions or appear as a guest on our show, visit www.thephilantrepreneur.com. Contact Victoria Boyd. Email her at theboyd@thephilantrepreneur.com. The Philantrepreneur Radio Show is a production of and sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.